Hi, I'm Sunny from Sunny Book TV. What's this? This is a tiny big owl. You know, owls are nocturnal animals. We don't even see owls in the night, really. They're really rare. But in the morning, there are tons of owls. I don't know where they came from. Uncle Vernon was going to the drill for Grunnings when he saw a lot of odd things happening on the ground. There were a lot of people in cloaks and a lot of owls swooping down morning. And Uncle Vernon was very, very surprised to hear the Potters. They're talking about the Potters, the most fearful thought Uncle Vernon had ever thought. Maybe he was related to the Potters too one time. OMG, at night, Uncle Vernon had an uneasy sleep because he thought about the Potters. But Aunt Petunia had a perfect day, so she fell right asleep. If you're curious about the next scene, then let's hop into the book. Poof! His blue eyes were light, bright and sparkling behind the half-moon spectacles, and his nose were very long and crooked, as though it had been broken at least twice. This man's name was Albus Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore didn't seem to realize that he had just arrived in a street where everything from his name to his boots was unwelcome. He was busy rummaging in his cloak, looking for something, but he did seem to realize he was being watched because he looked up suddenly at the cat, which was still staring at him from the other end of the street. For some reason, the sight of the cat seemed to amuse him. He chuckled and muttered, "I should have known." He had found what he was looking for in his inside pocket. It seemed to be a silver cigarette lighter. He flicked it open, held it up in the air, and clicked it. The nearest street lamp went out with a little pop. He clicked it again. The next light flickered into darkness. 12 times he clicked the put-outer until only lights left in the whole street were 2 tiny pinpricks in the distance, which were the eyes of the cat watching him. If anyone looked out of the window now, even beady-eyed Mrs. Dursley, they wouldn't be able to see anything that was happening down on the pavement. Dumbledore slipped the put-outer back inside his cloak and set off down the street towards number 4, where he sat down on the wall next to the cat. He didn't look at it, but after a moment, he spoke to it. "Fancy seeing me here, Professor McGonagall." He turned to smile at the tabby, but it had gone. Instead, he was smiling at a rather severe-looking woman who was wearing square glasses exactly the shape of the markings the cat had around its eyes. She, too, was wearing a cloak, an emerald one. Her black hair was drawn into a tight bun. She looked distinctly ruffled. "How did you know it was me?" she asked. "My dear Professor, I'd never seen a cat sit so stiffly. You'd be stiff if you'd been sitting on a brick wall all day," said Professor McGonagall. "All day, when you could have been celebrating? I must have passed a dozen feasts and parties on my way here." Professor McGonagall sniffled angrily. "Oh yes, everyone's celebrating all right," she said impatiently, "but you'd think they'd be a little careful. But no, even the Muggles have noticed something's going on. It was in their news." She jerked her head back at the Dursleys' dark living room window. "I heard it! Flocks of owls, shooting stars. Well, they're not completely stupid. They're bound to notice something. Shooting stars down in Kent I bet that was that little Stiggle. He ain't never had much sense." "You can't blame them," said Dumbledore gently. "We've had precious little to celebrate for 11 years. "I know that," said Professor McGonagall irritably. "But that's no reason to lose our heads. People are being downright careless, out on the streets in broad daylight, not even dressed in muggle clothes, swapping rumors." She threw a sharp sideways glance at Dumbledore here, as though hoping he was going to tell her something, but he didn't. So she went on. "A fine thing it would be on the very day you-know-who seems to be had disappeared at last. But the Muggles found out us all. I suppose he really has gone, Dumbledore." "It certainly seems so," said Dumbledore. "We have much to be thankful for. Would you care for a sherbet lemon?" "A what?" "A sherbet lemon. They're kind of muggle sweet and rather fond of." "No, thank you," said Professor McGonagall coldly, as though she didn't think this was the moment for sherbet lemons. "As I say, even if you-know-who has gone, my dear Professor, surely a sensible person like yourself can call him by his name? All this you-know-who nonsense. For 11 years I've been trying to persuade people to call him by his proper name, Voldemort." Professor McGonagall flinched, but Dumbledore, who was unsticking 2 sherbet lemons, seemed not to notice. "It all gets confusing if we keep saying you-know-who. I've never seen any reason to be frightened of seeing Voldemort's name." "I know you haven't," said Professor McGonagall, sounding half exasperated, half admiring. "But you're different. Everyone knows you're the only one you know. Oh, right. Voldemort was frightened of." "You flatter me," said Dumbledore calmly. "Voldemort had powers I will never have." "Only because you're too, noble to use them." "It's lucky it's dark. I haven't blushed so much since Madame Pomfrey told me she liked my new earmuffs." Professor McGonagall shot a sharp look at Dumbledore and said, "The owls are nothing to the rumors that are flying around. You know what everyone's saying about why he's disappeared, about what finally stopped him." It seemed that Professor McGonagall had reached the point she was most anxious to discuss, the real reason she had been waiting on a cold, hard wall all day, for neither as a cat nor as a woman she had fixed Dumbledore with such a piercing stare as she did now. It was plain that whatever everyone was saying, she was not going to believe it until Dumbledore told it was true. Dumbledore, however, was shooting another sherbet lemon and did not answer. "What they're saying," she pressed on, "is that last night Voldemort turned up into Godric's Hollow. We went to find the Potters. The rumors that Lily and James Potter are that they're dead." Dumbledore bowed his head. Professor McGonagall gasped. "Lily and James! I can't believe it! I didn't want to believe it! Oh, Albus!" Dumbledore reached out and patted her on the shoulder. I know, he said heavily. Professor McGonagall's voice trembled as she went on. "That's not all. They were saying he tried to kill the Potter's son, Harry. But he couldn't. He couldn't kill that little boy. No one knows why or how. They're saying that when he couldn't kill Harry Potter, Voldemort's power somehow broke, and that's why he's gone." Dumbledore nodded glumly. It's true?" faltered Professor McGonagall. "After all he's done, all the people he's killed, he couldn't kill a little boy? is just astounding, but all the things to stop him. But how in the name of heaven did Harry survive? We can only guess, said Dumbledore. We may never know. Professor McGonagall pulled out a lace handkerchief and dabbed at her eyes beneath her spectacles. Dumbledore gave a great sniff as he took a golden watch from his pocket and examined it. It was a very odd watch. It had 12 hands but no numbers.
Oh my, are you okay?
Hermione.
Wait.
What's the matter?
What's the matter?
Hermione Granger?